माता धर्म।
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ritesh Prabhu. Very good. All three devotees under the chanting. Start with Mangalacharan. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna. Okay, anybody would like to recite our prayers for this week? Shri Jagannath Ashtakam. What's the link in the chat? Yesterday, Shama Karuna Mataji recited it very wonderfully. Anybody else would like to try today? Okay. Shama Karuna Mataji, would you like to try again today? For speaking, you're on mute.
I will, Prabhuji, I will read, Prabhuji.
ठीक है माता जी.
Okay.
ठीक है. Okay, let me go and sing then the prayers and then we'll do the translation. Hare Krishna. All right, Shri Jagannath Ashtakam ki jai, Shri Adi Shankaracharya ki jai. कदाचित् कालिन्दी तटविपिन सङ्गीत करवो मुदाभीरी नारी वदन कमला स्वाद मधुपः रमाशम्भु ब्रह्मा मरपति गणेशार्चितपदो जगन्नाथः स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे भुजे सव्ये वेणुं शिरसि शिखिपिच्छं कटितटे दुकूलं नेत्रान्ते सहचरकटाक्षं विदधते सदा श्रीमद्वृन्दावनवसति लीलापरिचयो जगन्नाथः स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे महाम्भोधेस्तीरे कनकरुचिरे नीलशिखरे वसन् प्रासादान्तः सहजबलभद्रेण बलिना सुभद्रा मध्यस्थः सकलसुरसेवावसरदो जगन्नाथः स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे कृपापारावारः सजलजलधश्रेणिरुचिरो रमावाणी रामः स्फुरदमलपङ्केरुहमुखः सुरेन्द्रैराराध्यः श्रुतिगणशिखगीतचरितो जगन्नाथः स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे रथारूढो गच्छन् पथिमिलितभूदेवपटलै स्तुतिप्रादुर्भावं प्रतिपदमुपाकर्ण्यसदयः दयासिन्धुर्बन्धुः सकलजगतां सिन्धुसुतया जगन्नाथः स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे परब्रह्मापीडः कुवलयदलोत्फुल्लनयनो निवासी नीलाद्रौ निहितचरणोऽनन्तशिरसि रसानन्दो राधा सरसवपुरालिङ्गनसुखो जगन्नाथः स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे न वै याचे राज्यं न च कनकमाणिक्यविभवम् न याचेऽहं रम्यां सकलजनकाम्यां वरवधूं सदा काले काले प्रमथपतिना गीतचरितो जगन्नाथः स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे हर त्वं संसारं द्रुततरमसारं सुरपते हर त्वं पापानां विततिमपरां यादवपते अहो दीने नाथे निहितचरणो निश्चितमिदं जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे जगन्नाथाष्टकं पुण्यं यः पठेत् प्रयतः शुचि सर्वपापविशुद्धात्मा विष्णुलोकं स गच्छति हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Okay. Yes, Mataji, would you like to read the translation?
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll read that. Hare
Okay.
Krishna. Sometimes, in great happiness, Lord Jagannatha makes a loud concert with his flute in the groves on the bank of the Yamuna. He is like a bumblebee tasting the beautiful lotus like faces of the cowherd damsels of Raja. And great personalities such as Lakshmi, Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and Ganesha worship his lotus feet. May the Jagannatha Swami be the object of my vision. In his left hand, Lord Jagannatha holds a flute. On his head he wears peacock feathers, and on his hips he wears fine yellow silken cloth. From the corners of his eyes he bestows sidelong glances upon his loving devotees, and he always reveals himself through his pastimes in his divine abode of Vrindavana. May that Jagannatha Swami be the object of my vision. On the shore of the great ocean, within a large palace atop the brilliant golden Nilachala hill, Lord Jagannatha resides with his powerful brother Balabhadra and his sister Subhadra, who sits between them. May that Jagannatha Swami, who bestows the opportunity for devotional service upon all godly souls, be the object of my vision. Lord Jagannatha is an ocean of mercy and as beautiful as a row of blackish rain clouds. He is the storehouse of bliss for Lakshmi and Saraswati, and his face resembles a spotless full-blown lotus. Blown lotus. The best of demigods and sages worship him, and the Upanishads sing his glories. May that Jagannatha Swami be the object of my vision. When Lord Jagannatha moves along the road of his on his Rath Yatra car. At every step, large assemblies of Brahmanas loudly chant prayers and sing songs for his pleasure. Hearing these hymns, Lord Jagannatha becomes very favorably disposed towards them. He is the ocean of mercy and the true friend of all the worlds. May that Jagannatha Swami, along with his consort Lakshmi, who was born from the ocean of nectar, be the object of my vision. Lord Jagannatha, whose eyes resemble full blown lotus petals, is the ornament on Lord Brahma's head. He resides on Nilachala hill with his lotus feet placed on the heads of Anantadeva. Overwhelmed by the mellows of love, he joyfully embraces Srimati Radharani's body, which is like a cool pond. May that Jagannatha Swami be the object of my vision. I do not pray for a kingdom, nor do I pray for gold, rubies, or wealth. I do not ask for a beautiful wife as desired by all men. I simply pray that Jagannatha Swami, whose glories Lord Shiva always sings, may be the constant object of my vision. O Lord of the demigods, please quickly remove this useless material existence I am undergoing. O Lord of the Yadus, please destroy this vast shoreless ocean of sins. Alas, this is certain. Lord Jagannatha bestow his lotus feet upon those who feel themselves fallen and have no shelter in this world but him. May the Jagannatha Swami be the object of my vision. The self-restrained, virtuous soul who recites these 8 verses glorifying Lord Jagannatha becomes cleansed of all sins and duly proceeds to Lord Vishnu's abode. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for giving.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Very nice. Okay. Yes, as Jagannath Swami bestows his sidelong glances, so we continue with our Prabhupada Leela and Prabhupada has come back while we are reading Jagannath Ashtakam, and Jagannath Swami has come back to Nilachal, to the temple, Jagannath Puri temple, after the Rath Yatra. But Prabhupada has left Jagannath Puri now, and he has come to New York again. And yes, that's also happy Guru Purnima to everybody. So, Srila Prabhupada, who is the Jagat Guru, has come back to New York. Of course, this is a transcendental ecstasy he's giving to his disciples. One having the mood of union, another having the mood of separation. But yesterday, when Prabhupada came back to New York now, with his presence, with his words, and with his glances, he's increasing the transcendental ecstasy of his disciples in New York. And like you mentioned, yes, not everybody is taking up this process because we have our own free will. But if we align our free will towards the Lord, which is the supreme will, then we can get closer to him. Versus if we align our free will for our own material sense enjoyment, then we tend to go towards the lower strata, which is the process of becoming evil, right? So there is supreme will, there is free will, and there is evil. So we have to decide where we align our free will towards. But Prabhupada, while he saw that the devotees had made progress, there were a lot of new paintings and um, in the storefront, but the kirtan was little dull. That was Prabhupada felt in the morning, right? So again, that is the most important thing in this day and age. In Kali Yuga, as Chaitanya says, Sankirtan. So Sankirtan has to be very nice, and that's what Prabhupada observed. So Prabhupada encouraged them to improve that again. Okay, so we'll continue here. Anybody would like to read today? And we are from Satswarupas. Came in to show Prabhupada. Anybody would like to read? If not, I can. Okay, I'll continue then. Satswarupa came in to show Prabhupada the latest typed manuscripts for teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Although there was no difference in Satswarupa's assignment, now that he was face to face with Prabhupada, he realized he had to type and edit more seriously. He asked whether he could resign from his job at the welfare office. Prabhupada said no. Jadurani continued painting in the outer room of Prabhupada's apartment. Casting shyness aside, she asked him many questions about how to paint Krishna. How is Lord Vishnu situated in the heart? She asked. Is he sitting or standing or what? Prabhupada replied, Oh, for that you have to meditate for thousands of years. Jadurani stared at him in dismay. Then Prabhupada said, He is standing, and she went off happily to paint. When Jadurani complained of weak health, Prabhupada asked Achyutananda to see that she got milk twice a day. Looking through the window that opened into the outer room, where typing, painting, and sometimes even construction went on, Prabhupada watched Jadurani one day as she worked on a painting of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan party. Just as she started to paint the words of the Mahamantra across the bottom of the painting, Prabhupada called through the window, Don't put the Mahamantra there. But you told me to put it there, she said. I've changed my mind. Hare Krishna should not be below Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One by one, Prabhupada saw all his old New York followers. Gargamuni, the temple treasurer, who reported good sales of the Hare Krishna record and incense. Ram, editor of Back to Godhead, who talked about his indigestion, and Rupanuga, who had a good job but was having difficulty convincing his wife about Krishna consciousness. Even Mr. Chute, the landlord, dropped by with complaints about the boy's behavior. Prabhupada also met Michael Blumert, a newcomer. Michael had been seeing a psychiatrist as a result of devastating drug experiences. When he had begun coming to the temple, his mother and father had thought the Swami another evil force. On meeting Swamiji, however, Mrs. Blumert accepted his authenticity, although her husband remained doubtful. Mr. Blumert, Srila Prabhupada said, Your wife is more intelligent. Mr. Blumert said he wanted his son to help the world in a more practical way by becoming a doctor. Prabhupada argued that there were already so many doctors, but still people were suffering. A Krishna conscious person, however, could relieve a person's suffering completely. So the work of Krishna consciousness was more valuable. Mr. Blumert was unconvinced, but he agreed to let Michael stay with the devotees and drop going to the psychiatrist. He came to respect the Swami, even though disagreeing with him. With Brahmananda, Prabhupada discussed the urgent problem of obtaining a permanent visa. Prabhupada had repeatedly extended his visa ever since he had entered the country in 1965. Now, immigration officials denied him any further extensions. He didn't want to leave the US, but the only way he would be able to stay would be to get permanent residency. He had applied, but so far with no success. Your government doesn't want me to stay, he had said, so I may have to go back to India. Swamiji is going back to India was a frightening prospect. His disciples had barely been able to accept that he could leave them for preaching elsewhere in the US. If he were to go back to India, they feared they might fall back into the material world. He was sustaining their spiritual life. How could they go on without him? And Prabhupada felt the same way. Brahmananda managed to find a lawyer to delay the proceedings of the immigration office. The threat of deportation passed. Prabhupada spoke of going to Montreal and getting permanent residency there, but his main intention was to stay in America and cultivate what he had begun. Brahmananda reported to Prabhupada about printing the Bhagavad Gita. The manuscript was ready, and they were considering the cost and where to print it, even though they didn't have enough money to publish the book themselves. They hadn't seriously attempted the arduous process of finding a publisher, but Prabhupada pushed Brahmananda to do so. The only hope is that I have my books. Ramananda also talked with Prabhupada about the $6,000 he had lost to Mr. Price. Prabhupada insisted that they prosecute the culprits. He sent Ramananda to speak with various lawyers and also to tell Mr. Price and Mr. Tyler that His Excellency was back and would take them to court. At that, they relented. Mr. Tyler refunded most of the $5,000 deposit, and Mr. Price returned $750 of the $1,000 he had wheedled out of Brahmananda. The legal services had cost more than $1,000, so that was lost. But Prabhupada said that when dealing with a tiger, you can expect to get scratched. In a letter to Kirtananda in Montreal, Prabhupada described the successful termination of the price affair. You will be glad to know that I have been able, by grace of Krishna, to recover 4,227 out of the $5,000 gone in the belly of Sir Conman Fraud Price. There were signs that Prabhupada should be cautious about his wealth, about his health. He had gone through difficulty while appearing on the Alan Burke TV show. Alan Burke was known for sitting back, smoking a cigar, and saying outrageous, even insulting things to his guests. And if a guest became offended, Mr. Burke would provoke him all the more. It was a popular show. Before they went on the air, Mr. Burke had asked Prabhupada's permission to smoke a cigar, and Prabhupada had graciously consented. Mr. Burke had introduced his guest as a real Swami. When he had asked Prabhupada why he was against sex, Prabhupada had said he wasn't. Sex should be restricted to marriage for raising Krishna conscious children. But Mr. Burke had persisted, wanting to know what was wrong with sex outside of marriage. The real purpose of human life, Srila Prabhupada had replied, was self realization. When one's mind is preoccupied with capturing new sex partners, keeping the mental peace necessary for self realization becomes impossible. Mr. Burke had agreed. In fact, his manners had been the best ever, and at the end he had called Prabhupada a very charming gentleman. It was on his way home to the temple that Srila Prabhupada had said that the TV lights had caused him so much pain in his head that at one point he had thought he would not be able to continue. Then one day, Rupanuga, sitting close to Prabhupada's dais during a lecture, noticed Prabhupada's hand shaking as he spoke. Kirtanananda had been there when months ago, the morning after they had made the record, Prabhupada had slept late and complained of his heart skipping and of not being able to move. If I ever get badly sick, Srila Prabhupada had told Kirtanananda, don't call a doctor, don't take me to a hospital, just give me my beads and chant Hare Krishna. Swamiji's disciples were reluctant to restrain him. Kirtanananda had tried. At the Avalon, when Swamiji had been dancing and jumping and streaming with perspiration, Kirtanananda had insisted that the Kirtana stop, but the others had called him paranoid. Besides, Swamiji didn't like to be restrained. And who were they to restrain him? He was Krishna's empowered representative, able to surmount any difficulty. He was a pure devotee. He could do anything. Hadn't he often described how a pure devotee is transcendental to material pangs? Swamiji had written a letter consoling a disciple's ailing grandmother. All our ailments are due to the external body. Although we have to suffer sometime from bodily inconveniences, especially in old age, still, if we are God conscious, we shall not feel the pangs. The best thing is therefore to chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. The devotees figured that although Swamiji might give good instructions to someone's old grandmother, nothing like what had befallen her was ever going to affect him. Of course, he referred to himself as an old man, but that was mostly in lectures to show the inevitability of old age. To the devotees, Prabhupada's health appeared strong. His eyes shone brightly with spiritual emotions. His complexion was smooth and golden, and his smile was a display of health and well being. One time, one of the boys said that Swamiji's smile was so virile that it made him think of a bull and iron nails. Swamiji was taking cold showers, going on early morning walks around the Lower East Side, playing mridanga, eating well. Even his disciples wanted to slow him down. What could they do? Some of his disciples had actually tried to prevent him from attending the controversial Cosmic Love, Cosmic Love in at the East Village Theatre, but not because of his health. They had wanted to protect his US residency case. Srila Prabhupada had been invited to attend the Love-In, a fundraising show for Louis Abulafia, the Love and Peace presidential candidate. Allen Ginsberg, Timothy Leary, and others were attending, along with a full lineup of rock bands. But when Prabhupada's lawyer heard that he was going, he said it might jeopardize the visa case. Some of the boys took up the lawyer's opinion and opposed Prabhupada's plan. Prabhupada agreed that it might be best if he didn't go. But on the day of the cosmic Lavin, he changed his mind and decided to go anyway. I came to this country to preach Krishna consciousness, he declared. Now it was time to speak against these LSD leaders who claimed to be spiritualists. He had been saying that although he wanted to go, he wouldn't go if his disciples forbade him. But in the end, he simply said he was going, and that was that. During the last week of May, Srila Prabhupada began to feel exhausted. He spoke of heart palpitations, hoping that the symptoms would clear up in a day or two. Kirtanananda requested Prabhupada to rest and see no visitors, but Prabhupada's condition became worse. Kirtanananda, Swamiji began to complain that his left arm wasn't functioning properly, and then he began to develop a twitching in his left side, and his left arm would twitch uncontrollably. It seemed to pain him in some mysterious way, internally or psychologically. Achyutananda. It was Sunday, 2 days before Memorial Day, and we had arranged a large program in the afternoon in a hall uptown. I went up to get Swamiji since all the devotees were ready. Swamiji was lying down, and his face was pale. He said, "Feel my heart," and I felt a quivering vibration in his chest. I went down, but didn't want to alert everyone and panic them. I went to Kirtanananda and quietly said, "Swami is having some kind of mild heart palpitations." And immediately we both flew back up. Swamiji said, "Just massage here." So I rubbed him on the chest, and he showed me how. He said, "The others go, and Achyutananda can stay here. If anything happens, he can call you." So the others went and did the program, and I waited. Once or twice he called me in and had me quickly rub over his chest. Then he looked up and his color had come back. I was staring with my mouth open, wondering what to do. He looked at me and said, "Why are you sitting idle? Chant Hare Krishna." During the evening, palpitations again occurred, so I slept in the room next to his. And late at night, he called me in and again had me massage. Nitanananda. It was on Tuesday afternoon, Memorial Day, and I was sitting with Swamiji in his room. While Kirtan was going on downstairs, the twitching began again. Swamiji's face began to tighten up. His eyes started rolling. Then all of a sudden, he threw himself back and I caught him. He was gasping, "Hare Krishna." And then everything stopped. I thought it was the last until his breathing started again, and with it, the chanting. But he didn't regain control over his body. Ramananda. I was there along with Kirtanananda. It was on Memorial Day weekend. We couldn't understand what was wrong with Swamiji. He couldn't sit up. He was moaning, and nobody knew what was happening. We nursed him, myself and Kirtanananda, trying all different things. I had to go out and buy a bed pain for him. Prabhupada's left side was paralyzed. He asked that a picture of his spiritual master be put on the wall in front of him. Thinking that Prabhupada was preparing to leave his body and wanted to meditate at the last moment on his spiritual master, Achyutananda taped it to the door facing Prabhupada. Devotees entered the front room of the apartment and Prabhupada told them to chant Hare Krishna. Then he told them to pray to Krishna in his form of Narsimhadev, Satsvarupa. Swamiji said we should pray to Lord Narsimha and the prayer should be, "My master has not finished his work." At different times, he would allow us to take turns and massage different parts of his body. Then he had us go downstairs and hold Kirtana through the night. Chadurani. He taught us the prayers to Lord Narsimhadev. He said the words one by one, and I wrote them down. I called up the temples in San Francisco and Montreal and told them the prayer. Swamiji said, "You should pray to Krishna that my spiritual master has not yet completed his work. So please let him finish." Damodar. I went into the temple. No one was downstairs, so I just sat down to chant some rounds. Then a devotee came down looking very disturbed, so I asked what was going on. When he told me, I rushed upstairs. Everyone was sitting around in the second room, where they could see into Swamiji's room through the window in the wall. They were all chanting on their beads. Chadurani was handing out little slips of paper with writing on them. Swamiji, she explained, wanted us to chant these prayers. Ramananda. We brought the painting of Lord Narasimha into Swamiji's room and we were all chanting. When Swamiji had to use the bedpan in front of Lord Narasimha's painting, he begged forgiveness of Lord Narasimha. He could understand that Lord Narasimha was sitting right in front of him. I saw it as a painting, but Swamiji saw it as Lord Narasimha himself sitting there. It was getting worse. Total weakness and everything. I couldn't get a doctor because it was Memorial Day and everything was closed. I even called my family doctor, but he wasn't in. Everyone had gone on vacation because on Memorial Day everyone leaves the city. I couldn't get anyone. I was calling hospitals, doctors, trying this and that, but I couldn't get anyone. Finally, I got a doctor by calling an emergency number for the New York City medical department. The doctor came. He was an old geezer with a real loud voice. When he saw Swamiji, he said, I think the old man is praying too much. I think he should get some exercise. He should go out for a walk in the morning. Achutananda. The doctor didn't know very much. He said that Swamiji had a cold. I said, what do you mean? His heart is palpitating. Hmm. I don't know what to do. Does he take any whiskey? I said, he doesn't even drink coffee or tea. Oh, very good, very good. Well, I think he has just got a cold. Karkadish Das. He came and took a look at the place, and you could tell right away he didn't like what he saw. He thought we were just a bunch of hippies. He couldn't wait to get out of the place. But he said, oh, he's got influenza. That was a ridiculous diagnosis. And then he said, give me my money. We paid him. The doctor left, and Swamiji got worse. The devotees called a second doctor who came and diagnosed Srila Prabhupada that having had a mild heart attack, he said that Prabhupada should at once go to the hospital. Max Lerner, a lawyer friend of the devotees, I got a call one day that the Swami had had a mild heart attack and I could be of some help. At that time, they were going to take him to the Bellevue hospital, but I suggested that at least I could try to get him into a private hospital. After several hours of talking and negotiating with people at the hospital, we were able to get Swamiji into Beth Israel Hospital, Ramananda. The day after Memorial Day, we had to arrange for an ambulance. Beth Israel had no ambulance, so I called a private ambulance company. It was all arranged with the hospital that Swamiji would arrive at 9 o'clock that morning. But the ambulance didn't come until about noon. During this time, Swamiji kept moaning. Then finally, the ambulance came, and they were horrible guys. They treated Swamiji like a bundle of cloth. I thought it would have been better if we had taken Swamiji in a cab, except for Kirtananda, who stayed in Prabhupada's hospital room as a nurse. No one else was allowed to stay. They all went back to the temple to chant through the night as Prabhupada had requested. Kirtananda phoned Haigreva in San Francisco and told him what had happened, how Swamiji had suddenly fallen back and cried out, Hare Krishna, and nothing, how there had been nothing for about 30 seconds, and then a big gasp, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Kirtananda told Haigreva that the devotees in San Francisco should chant all night and pray to Lord Narasimhadev. Avakara Kamalavare Nakham Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare. Okay, I think we'll pause here and let's continue to chant and pray as Srila Prabhupada has requested. Okay, we have our heart doctor here on the call. Adi Guru Prabhu, what were your thoughts, reflections? Cardiovascular surgeon.
Prabhu, thank you so much for wonderful reading. Prabhu, it's a reflection of how at the time of crisis we go towards our lower mode, but Prabhupada always relied on the holy name. Now we try to solve the problem ourselves. We should do our endeavor, but our faith should become stronger in the holy name, especially at the time of crisis. What I see practically in my own life, at least I can speak to myself, in the time of crisis, we try to solve things on our own and we forget about Krishna. So this is a wonderful, teaching by example of Srila Prabhupada that we should learn and how we should embolden our faith in Krishna and try to remember him more and more. And the other thing, I was really amazed at how the devotees were so in love with Srila Prabhupada. They were chanting for him all night when he was sick. So that's very nice to read that, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. We wish you were there at that time. Maybe you were there as a doctor who helped. You know, sure. But yes, like you said, I think it was his full surrender, right? I mean, that is what we learn, like complete shelter, and that is Sharanagati. Really, we think we can do this and that, and then we can also take shelter. But yeah, here he's teaching complete shelter. Like he believes in every word that he says, and that is what he wants his disciples to do. And yeah, like Brahmananda was saying, for him, it was just a picture, but Srila Prabhupada could see Lord Narasimhadev himself was sitting there protecting him. And this is not the first time, right? Of course, when he was coming on Jaladuta, the same thing happened, right? 2 times. And yeah, how the Lord came in the dream and as a boatman, and he was guiding Prabhupada, telling him that everything will be all right. So yeah, it is hard to at least in my, yeah, like you said, even in my condition state, it is hard to imagine, how practical that is. Right? Like Prabhupada is saying, don't even call a doctor, don't call any ambulance, hospital. Just bring my beads and chant Hare Krishna. It is very hard to imagine. But yeah, when you are fully surrendered to the Lord, then that is where Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palan. So the Lord has to protect, He will protect. And how beautifully Prabhupada says to them, right, to pray to Lord Narasimhadev that, that my spiritual master's work is not finished yet. So please let him finish his work. That's a very nice prayer. And I think that is the title of this chapter as well. So yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Okay, anybody else would like to share anything? Anything that you liked or learned or loved from today's reading?
I like Prabhuji that how Prabhupada had full faith in Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and he asked just the devotees to chant and the holy name. So he had complete faith in that holy name, Harinama, 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 Iva Kevalam Kalau Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyata. So in this aspect, he shows the people that how powerful and potent is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So we have to just keep that in mind and chant always and think of the Lord. That I liked it very much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for giving such nice classes like this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. And just to lighten up the mood, I know it is a serious thing, but Prabhupada, once he mentions Shyam Sundar Prabhu and Mukunda Prabhu in San Francisco. So Shyam Sundar Prabhu, who is the Malati Mataji's husband, when he was remembering one instance where, he was actually about to be put in jail because of some previous activities, but and he was actually put in also, and Prabhupada told him, just keep chanting. And then, he kept chanting, and his sentence was about to be like 4 or 5 years, something like that. And then, because of his chanting, they noticed his behavior in the jail, and they let him go in 1 month itself. So he came out, and then Prabhupada, when Prabhupada went to India with his disciples, and he went there, and even there he was driving a car, and of course, he had the American license, but driving in India, we all know how challenging it is, right? It is nowhere comparable to driving in America. And so when he was driving, he accidentally hit somebody, and that person fell down. And then the lot of crowd assembled. He thought, okay, my day is gone. Now I'm finished, and everybody's going to bash me up. And then he immediately remembered. He just picked up his bead bag and started chanting in the car he was sitting. And then as people came, they saw him, and then they saw the person, and then they started, and he saw, okay, now I'm gone. But then he kept chanting, and then people went to the person who was on the road, and then they started beating that person up. He said, "Oh Krishna, what is happening?" I was hoping that I'm gone, but here these guys are all beating up. Then he asked one person, "Why are you beating this person?" He said, "You are a devotee of Krishna. How can he come and disturb you?" And they started beating, still continued beating. And he said, "Oh, no, 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 leave him, leave him. It is my fault." So he was remembering, how the faith and the holy name again, what Srila Prabhupada taught him, and how they were doing. And he was saying, just by chanting, like he got out of the jail in less than a month, and by chanting here, just the appearance, like he was in dhoti kurta tilak and chanting Mahamantra, and because of that, he was protected. So yeah, so that is, I mean, of course, and if that is the mood his disciples have, then imagine, what Prabhupada had in his heart. So, but yeah, it's good to see that, it's a learning for all of us that, that is the mood of the spiritual master that the disciple is able to imbibe. And, that should be our meditation also, that how we can imbibe the mood of what Srila Prabhupada has taught us, and our Guru Maharajas have taught us, and how we can apply that in our lives. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. All right. If nothing else, anybody else? Any other thoughts before we conclude? Okay, so let's wrap up here today and we'll continue again tomorrow. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णवृंद की जय, जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद लीलामृत की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. Happy Guru Purnima, and for those who are doing Chaturmas, happy Chaturmas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna to everyone. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.